All right, y'all. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning to everybody. I am Cherie Bennett. I'm the director for the Office of Downtown Development, and it's good to see everybody. Um, let's see. Do we have any DCA regional reps on the call? I saw Kathy. Any
Yeah,
others?
I'm here, but I'm not showing my picture because it's the no makeup day for me.
Okay, Tanya. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, Heather on here too.
Oh, okay.
And I see Tracy is on as well.
Well, and then how about is Ondi on? I didn't see her before, but she might have joined. Ondi or Renee for GDA? Is
Hey y'all, I'm on here for GDA.
that Jason?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, would you like to give a report?
Yeah, just a couple of updates.
Okay.
Um, we just wrapped up our regional meetups, which were great. Really enjoyed those. There's going to be some new dates coming out for fall, so keep an eye out for that. With the downtown conference coming up, just remember that we have scholarships available to cover down on those costs. So please look in. That Adam Edge scholarship is available to you. We'd love to see those come in. But also, you probably just got emails about the award applications going live for the downtown conference. So please take a look at those. Be thoughtful and really even kind of aggressive in nominating people. I mean, they deserve it. So nominate them. You never know what will happen. And we look forward to having our partners kind of help us through that award determination process. And that's all I've got.
Do you have anything to say about awards as far as the new categories or just that folks should pay attention because it's
Yeah, pay attention. It's not that different, but there are a few differences. If you'll give me just a second, I can tell you what they are.
okay.
Okay. Just so that you're kind of tracking what you're going to be able to nominate people for. It's the Inspired Leader Award. So this award honors a city staff member, public entity, or partner organization that goes above and beyond from a leadership perspective. Outstanding downtown promotion. So this is an event, signature event, campaign, fresh approach to outreach, outstanding placemaking project. The distinguishing factor for this one is that it's an under a $10,000 budget. So it's by nature designed to be kind of a small project with a large impact. Then you have an outstanding historic preservation award, and that's like the transformative preservation project. So, redesigning a building, adaptive reuse. There's a new premier development. So this is like your infill construction. There's an outstanding public improvement project. So that's if your city or county did something in the infrastructure, streetscape, public parks, those types of things. And then, of course, downtown of the year. And that's just to celebrate someone who's just firing on all cylinders.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
Sure,
Anybody
thanks.
got any questions for Jason? All right. Well, I'll bump it over to Ellen for some announcements.
Hey y'all. So as y'all know, MOUs went out May 1st. Most of you have gotten those in, so thank you very much for being quick to get those in. Those of you who still have them outstanding, just a reminder that they're out there. I understand some of y'all need to take that in front of city council, and that's totally fine. Any of the Atlanta communities that are on, we will be sending those out this week. We just needed to wait to hear back from the city of Atlanta on a few things, so we'll get those out to y'all this week too. We had a great training this week in Atlanta. The Genergy training, it was super fun, and Kristen was just a hoot. And I think we learned a lot about all of our generational differences. I know I picked up a lot, not just from a work standpoint, but like my 19-year-old standpoint. So it was really wonderful to kind of hear some new information on generational stuff. Thank you to everybody who came. You should have gotten a survey in your certificates this week as well, yesterday actually. But we do have 2 more trainings scheduled for the rest of the year. So we will do Main Street 101 at the conference as usual on that Monday, the first training day. And then also we will be hosting Mobilize Main Street. The registration is live. There are only, a certain amount of seats that we can keep on that one because we do only have so many seats on the bus for the visitation between the communities. So y'all hop on and get registered if you want to go because I know those seats will be taken up pretty quickly here soon. And speaking of MOUs, I did, mention that there was a little bit of a change in the MOU, and that is your in-person. You need to attend one of our Office of Downtown Development, DCA, in-person trainings a year. And if you have not done that, you only have 2 opportunities left. So you have Mobilize, you have Main Street 101, and that's all you've got. So just kind of keep that in mind, moving forward with your training. And then I do have a few updates from Nashville. I will send out an email to the entire network this week as well. But as far as like your annual reporting and the accreditation announcements, those have been announced by National this week. And then press releases, they'll be sending those out to y'all. Should be this week, if not next. Your certificates will be going directly to you, and their timeline is to get that out by May 30th. So in the next 2 weeks, they should be getting those out for distribution to you, but also the sub-license agreement. So that is, the logos and branding and all of that stuff. So if you see something come through from National that's a DocuSign, it's legit. It's a real thing. Go ahead and sign it. But I'll also send out a reminder on that. But they are planning to have those sent out by May 30th as well. So just be on the lookout for those. And then we'll get your logos and branding to you ASAP in your drop boxes. And yeah, Belinda, it's just for managers for the training, not board members. Board members just need their 2 hours of training every year.
And yes,
Andrew,
if you attended the national conference, that also counts.
Absolutely. So does anybody have any questions for me? I know that was kind of a lot all right there together, other than what's already been asked. Perfect.
thanks, Ellen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth, who has our information session for this month. This month.
Well, welcome all. Thank you for joining on this beautiful morning. I'm very, very excited today. Number one, happy Historic Preservation Month. So in honor of historic preservation, we wanted to bring a topic that sort of is very apropos, but also action-based. And so one of the biggest things that you can do locally to sort of think about preservation that's a simple action and also a very concrete action is to do a walking audit, establish walking audits in your downtown. Several communities throughout the state do a really great job of this. And every time we hear a presentation during annual assessments, when it's one of the 3-year cycles, we always sort of make note of the communities that are doing that. And this year we heard from Griffin, who is doing a lot of wonderful, wonderful things. If you do not have the pleasure of knowing Heather Robinson, who is going to be speaking today from Griffin, she is a dynamo. You will never meet somebody that has more energy or passion, I feel like, for Griffin and in some ways this work. So we felt she would be the perfect speaker to make the subject that might sound a little bit vanilla, so that is walking audits, exciting for anybody. And also she is a master class in engagement for her board and the community. She actually shared her presentation with me, and I realized she was going to go over a lot of the same contents that I was going to go over. And I was like, I think y'all will much rather hear from her than me. And she also has a daughter who just recently defended her thesis in her master's of historic preservation. So her whole family's in it. So she has a very all-encompassing perspective, and very, very excited to hear from her. I might chime in here and there during her presentation for a few little tidbits of things from throughout the state and sort of things that I noticed when I was local. But I really wanted to give Heather the chance to shine and share her enthusiasm and some of the great work she's doing in Griffin this morning. So without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Heather from Griffin as she tells us about her process and how it came about and sort of the benefits she's seen in her downtown of establishing a walking audit.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm super excited to tell y'all about our walking audits, about how they came to be. We really started them kind of very informally. Our director of economic development had a desire to identify an 8-block radius to focus redevelopment on. So we kind of just said, hey, whoever's available, y'all come to our office. We're gonna get in the golf carts and we're gonna go, because we're a golf cart community, so we love our golf carts around here. So and we're going to go drive around and we're going to try to identify this 8-block radius. So that was that was kind of how it started. We snapped pictures, we noticed things, we sent this stuff to our other departments for them to address the issues that we discovered. And then they kind of grew from there. Then that was in the summer of 2023. Fast forward to fall 2024, we've had a few new bars open, and we had been receiving reports that downtown Griffin had become the Wild Wild West on weekends. And so Elizabeth, I can't hear you.
Do you want to share your screen for your presentation?
Oh, yes.
We're just so excited.
Sorry, y'all. I thought I had done that. So sorry. Okay,
No,
can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had kind of heard that information. So we had been working so hard on redevelopment, revitalization, that we realized we quickly needed to address these concerns that people were having, so people felt safe. And I actually experienced it myself, leaving one of our favorite downtown businesses after on a Saturday night. I noticed the kiosk was flashing in the parking deck, and I went over there to look at it, and then my husband was like, no, you're gonna get in the truck right now, because there were all these people in the parking deck. And he was like, no, I don't think that this is safe, you need to get in the truck. So after that, I came back and was like, okay, it is time to formalize these walking audits, and we are about to get busy. So that's how it started, was just like real life experiences that we realized we needed to do this. So I'm going to go through and kind of tell y'all a little bit about what a walking audit is. So as a revitalization tool, walking audits help, they're on the ground assessments, which helps stakeholders such as city staff, DDA board members, local officials, residents, business owners, walk through downtown to observe, document, and evaluate the conditions that impact walkability, safety, aesthetics, accessibility, and overall vitality. So we've used them for different purposes. We started with night walking audits as the first formal audit that we did, because of the issues that I said that we were getting reports of. So, but they do support revitalization as far as community engagement, bringing a diverse group of participants together. It brings different insights to your downtown. I mean, we walk around our downtowns all the time, so we kind of know, but the commissioners don't know, the public works director or the planning development director, they're kind of in their little silos of doing what they do, and they sit behind their desk, and you get them to come downtown and walk around with you, and you point stuff out, and that really has helped a lot with that. And then data collection, it helps us with observations such as poor lighting or broken sidewalks, lack of signage, building repairs that need to be addressed. And then informed planning, it helps with our ordinances and policies to design, and then also for grant proposals that we are applying for, as well as the businesses for like facade grants, when we can go and say, hey, we noticed you have a broken window. We have this facade grant program. Would you like to apply? And then also it has helped with catalyzing investment by our improvements that we have been able to complete from the walking audits. It has helped with tourism. We've added a parking mural. We've added all kind of stuff based on what we've learned on the walks. And then also placemaking with public art, and then pedestrian friendly crosswalks. We've noticed we need to add little blinkers to our crosswalks and that kind of thing, just to make it a little bit safer in downtown. And then I already told you a little bit about why we started the walks, but it was mostly for targeted revitalization, code enforcement issues. These are some pictures from one of our walks. You can see there's, a piece of the sidewalk is missing, or there's, and that's right of way issues that we need to address as the city. So, complaints from citizens, safety, beautification, preservation concerns, and then also facade grant opportunities have been a huge part in our why we do our walking audits. And we do that for all kinds of things. We're actually planning one right now. We've had an influx of homeless citizens in our downtown. We do have a local church who has a ministry in our downtown. And then we also are like the community, I guess that's to say like the seat for mental health facility. So we have had an influx in homelessness. And so we are actually planning a walk for that currently to see how we can help and address that. So our process, what it looks like in practice is first we decide where we need to host the walk. This is a map. I love Canva, so I'm forever making things. This is where we started. We started at Historic City Hall, and we followed the arrows. And this isn't the route we always take. It depends on what we're looking for. But I will say we've done this exact walk several times, and every single time we do it, we find something else that we missed the last time, because downtown's always changing and evolving. And so we can do the same walk multiple times, which we actually do recommend that. We've done this walk on a weeknight. We've also done it on a weekend. We've done it during the day. And every time we've seen different things. You can see I highlighted the Go Cup locations because we try to make it fun for our, and since it is after hours, some of the people participating in the walk will get a Go Cup and walk around with their cup, because I do think that is an important part of it, is to make it fun. Nobody just wants to walk around and take notes and pictures on a Friday night. So we do try to make it as fun as possible. It does take a while to do this map. We have done smaller ones that are like 30 minutes to an hour. I actually joke with our mayor that the more Go Cups he had, the longer the walk took, because he had more and more to say. So it was fun. But so this took about 2 hours to do this particular map. But our downtown is a lot larger than a lot of downtowns are. So it will really just be based on your downtown. And then what do you want to highlight on your walk? Well, what is your walk for? Is your walk for safety? Is your walk for beautification? Is your walk for code concerns? Like, it is really important to know what the board and the participants in the walk are looking for. Because if you just say, okay, we're going to go walk, and there's no purpose, then the data is not as direct. So it's not as easy to like quantify it at the end. And then create a map and a route, but be flexible. Because one night we made it through the whole walk. The next time we did not make it through the whole walk. So it just depends on the timing and what you're looking for. When we host walks, and we do them as needed, we try to do them at least annually. We do them on weeknights, weekends, daytimes, nighttime. It really just depends on what we're looking for. But really anytime, you can do a walk anytime, whether you have 30 minutes or 2 hours, but definitely start as soon as possible. They have been amazing revitalization tool for us. So I think who participates in the walks is a really important. We are intentionally collaborative in our walks. We've had the city manager, of course, I lead the walks. Our DDA and Economic Development Director participates, Planning Development Director, GIS Director. GIS and Planning Development, I feel like, are probably two of the most important things, because we can go back, and if we have a certain address that we have questions about, our GIS Director will pull it and figure out what is the zoning? Is there an overlay? Is there a special consideration for that building or whatever it is? So he was super informational, and he was just able to whip out his phone and tell us all the information we needed to know about a particular property. Our police chief and our fire chief both participate. We have commissioners, especially Mayor Holberg. He is, you can see him in this picture here. He is like the hardest working mayor ever. And then public works department staff, electric department staff, downtown business owners, residents. They actually have a really good perspective of downtown that we don't see every day because we're not downtown in the middle of the night, but they live here or they have a business here. And then art beautification committee members. So we have art beautification committee that handles all of the murals, the basically any kind of beautification, swing tables, flower beds, flower pots, all kind of stuff like that. And then our Historic Preservation Commission board members. And then what we observe when we are walking and document, we try to focus on one certain or a few certain things. And y'all will see the form in a minute that we use. But it's just a super simple form that I create. And then we actually are working on a digital form. Our IT department is getting us in the 21st century with like live documents pretty soon. I'm so excited about that. So we will have a new form soon. But pedestrian safety and accessibility is a huge one. The conditions of sidewalks, curbs, trash cans. We actually just went from every business in downtown having a green little individual trash can to centralized dumpsters, which was a huge undertaking. And we found that people are still using the street trash cans because they don't want to walk to the dumpster. So we have been working through that, and we discovered that on the walk. And then also furniture. We don't have an ordinance for specific to sidewalk and outdoor furniture. So that was one thing that we noticed. See, like this one in this picture, you can see a grill that's not allowed to be there. So just stuff like that. Storefront appearances and vacancies, high and low areas of foot traffic, homeless residents. Like I said, that's a huge issue we're facing. Dumpsters and enclosures. There is nothing more annoying than the fact that we have enclosures, but the solid waste department does not close them back after they dump the dumpster. So I have been on that, and I discovered it on the walk. Lighting is a huge one. We have found that the more lit something is, the less likely people are to sleep there, do things they shouldn't be doing there, that kind of thing. So that's where electric is involved a lot. We also look at the intangible items such as sense of vibrancy, comfort, connection between the blocks. We have noticed that some of our blocks are much more inviting than others. And that's just based on where the development has happened and then areas that still need further revitalization. So we do want to create a You Belong Here downtown. That's our downtown council created that as their motto. We've kind of adopted it for the whole downtown. So creating a sense of place and vibrancy is our ultimate goal. And then this is what our walking audit form looks like. It's just a simple Google document that says what's the address or location, what did you notice, and additional concerns. And then I always put a little blurb about thanking them for participating and then say, please use the chart to notice these items for this particular walk. And you can see, I give them all clipboards, a map, directions, and then we go off on our little merry way. This is what I do when I get the information back. I take it and put it into a spreadsheet. I'm hoping to create a form that does this for me, so that I don't have to spend hours doing this. But this is what this is just an example from one of our walks. So Smoke and Margaritas has a sidewalk that goes down to the basement. The gate was not secure. That's a rule that they have to have a gate. The sidewalk needs pressure washing. Some flower beds have deep holes, just things like that. Just anything that could be improved is what we compile into this. And then I share this with planning and development and public works, or any department that's relative, really. And then our findings from this, we take it and We use our findings to inform our work. So findings from the walking audits have been integrated into our Main Street work plan and our communication tools. We have a lot of stuff happening in our downtown that has not happened in years, and it is ticking people off. Construction in a downtown that hasn't had any major construction in 50 years will tick some people off. So we started doing construction signage. And although I really wanted to do fun ones like Milledgeville has, I don't think our community is ready for that yet. So ours had to be more just pardon our mess construction area kind of thing. We also discovered that people think we have nowhere to park. We have 900 parking spaces in our downtown. So we created a parking postcard that highlights all of our downtown parking lots. The Broad Street Commons is an area between Slayton Avenue, where we have a new business, Putton 4, and then Broad Street, which is where our Welcome Center is. We also have several new businesses on that street, but that's kind of been an underdeveloped area of our downtown. So we realized that that was actually a place that had a lot of people who did not have houses, were sleeping there, leaving their trash there. So we did apply for the GL Main grant, and this is the rendering that we submitted for that. And then also we discovered there's nowhere for kids to play in downtown. Kids live in our downtown, but there's nowhere to play. So we have the Welcome Center backs up to the train tracks, to the railroad tracks. So we are trying to put a train themed playground in our downtown, as well as a train viewing platform, which we already have. We already have the back porch of the Welcome Center to do that. So that was all discovered not really discovered, but more like realized by more than me, because I'm just one person, but I really need commission support and public works support, not everybody else's support to do these projects. I say all the time, I can't do anything without public works. And then also we were able to share the findings with Public Works and code to be able to address quick fixes of little things like broken windows or sidewalks or that kind of thing that we can fix. And then also it kind of provides quantitative data to support broader revitalization efforts with tangible and human-centered example. So I'm able to go and say, and actually a downtown playground is now a citywide goal for the whole city this year. So was that important? Was it just me? It was now the whole city is focused on doing this. Our board plays a huge role in these walks. Like I said, our first one was very informal. We just told the DDA and made sure we're like, whoever can come, y'all come, we're going to go do this. And they showed up. We actually had to get more golf carts that day. I had to call friends and be like, hey, can I bring a golf cart, please? So board members, they participate in the walk. They also help frame the audit criteria, especially our DDA. On our work plan, it says that walking audits are a DDA activity, but we all participate in them. And then they are able to go and champion the findings with the commission or public or historic preservation or whoever it needs to hear what we found. And they also help with conversations to encourage further involvement by other boards. Our environmental council plays a huge role in community cleanups, which we actually are planning 6 community cleanups this year. We just did downtowns last week, and it was absolutely amazing. We had 118 people come and help clean up our downtown. And also to market facade grants, general assistance grants to the business owners. So you can see in this picture, they were looking at, this is actually the back of a building, but they are looking at the fact that there is plywood around this window unit and that kind of stuff, which is not that it's.
Go ahead, Heather.
Right. Okay, I'm going to share again. Sorry, y'all. Okay, here we go. Okay, back to the board's role. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I think I was at Market Facade Grants. So we also use that to strategically market our facade grants to certain businesses. And we post them on Facebook on the Downtown Business Owner Group. We also go and actually give out flyers in person to all of our downtown businesses. But if there are buildings that we know really could benefit from one, we, kind of talk it up a little more. I mean, the board is great at that. Like, we love to send the board because they hear that kind of stuff from us all the time, but like they don't always hear it from a board member. So I think it's great for a volunteer to go and do that. And then it gives the board a greater understanding of our revitalization efforts. And then also a sense of accomplishment and little victories in downtown improvement. So, and a greater sense of purpose. They're not just coming to a board meeting, they're actually participating in the revitalization effort, like it's an active participatory role. And then let me see, what is this thing doing? Okay, the value, since we've started our walking audits, we've seen stronger interdepartment collaboration, faster identification and resolution for the safety and maintenance concerns. It gives the directors and other staff members who are not in the field daily a chance to see what's happening. It helps with right-of-way improvements, zoning compliance, code or police issues that we need to deal with. And then a visible sense of progress that engages the community as a whole, and a more connected downtown, with measurable improvements in walkability, sense of safety, and beautification efforts. I mean, we found simple things like putting locks on outlets so people can't just sit and charge their phone for hours is super helpful. We had a lady who had taken over our Imperial Theater Park, which is where our old Imperial Theater was. It's now been turned into a park. And she just told us that was her living room, and then we needed to get out of her living room, but we locked the outlets and she moved her living room somewhere else. So just little simple things like that seems to be super helpful. And then advice for other communities, I would say start small, even a 30-minute walk. Like I said, ours was super informal in the beginning. The more voices, the better results. So I probably invite 30 people to come to this, and, half of them probably can't come, but at least I've invited them, and then I share the results with them, and then document consistently, photos, checklists. As simple of a process as you can have is I have found is the best. And then just kind of repeat it because it's easier to be repeatable. Celebrate the quick wins. I send my board pictures of little things, like there was a little greenhouse that you put real estate books in, just randomly placed in our downtown. I don't know how it got there, but we noticed that on the walk and I got it removed, and I sent a picture and they're like, yay. So just little things like that. I want to say keep it going. Our planning and development director and I both really love these walks. And so between the two of us, we are constantly saying, hey, we should do a walk for this. We should do a walk for that. So it does help. And then identifying the reason for the walk is probably the most important part of the process. And then remember the 5 W's: what, where, when, where, why, and who, and make it fun. Walking audits are not a tool. They're really a mindset shift, and they allow citizens, business owners, board members to be part of something greater than just a seat on the board. It really gets them involved. And as they say, it takes a village, or a city in this case. So we love to say that. And it kind of helps. We have a One Griffin motto where we are not just individual departments and silos. We really do all work together to make downtown great and the whole city great. So it really has helped us become more proactive instead of reactive. So, does anybody have questions? Oh yeah, walking audits coming to a downtown near you. I hope you'll all go back and do walking audits.
Bad. Thank you, Heather.
Y'all are welcome.
So I just wanted to, just like I said, I didn't think I could do it better than her, so I didn't, I kind of stopped mid slideshow that I was creating. But I do want to reiterate a couple things that Heather mentioned during her talk. And so the board involvement, I think, is key. We all know that boards can get disengaged. And so to do an activity that is really like an activity. It's not them sitting in a room looking at each other, talking about the same things they continually talking about, but getting them together, feet on the street, active and having a say and really looking at downtown. And that's key too, because we're all guilty of it, of just kind of having our goggles on when we're walking through downtown is we're trying to go from point A to point B, and we really don't notice the things because that's not the intention of the walk. But when you put that intention into going downtown and looking at lighting, accessibility, all of these things, you start walking with a different lens, not only during the audit, but every day you're walking downtown because it's exercising that muscle of observing the downtown in a different way and constantly looking for the areas of improvement and growth and opportunity. So it's just a really great thing to have a habit. And as Heather mentioned as well, doing it at different times of day, different seasons, because your downtown never looks the same. There's an old adage about rivers. It's like you never step in the same river twice because it's constantly changing. Downtowns are the same way, depending on the season, the weather, the lighting, the time of day, all these different types of things. Your downtown is ever evolving. So if you think you've done it once, that is not enough. If you think you've done it once at this particular season, at this time of day, you probably need to do it a few other times. One thing that Emily had put in the chat is Google Forms, which is a huge asset. As she mentioned, it does automatically populate into Google spreadsheets. So I know that when I was local, I utilized that. And the neat things about forms too is like, this is a very formalized audit process, but you can throw it, you can have a QR code that goes to a Google form that has posted at different places around downtown. And it's like, hey, general public, if you see something that needs improvement, they can populate a different form. So you can kind of have like constant feedback from the public and it becomes an interactive experience and the public feels like they're having an impact downtown. And hey, if you get somebody that's pointing out a lot of stuff, they might be a great person to add to the audit walk because they're very observant and they're looking at things, even gamifying it, having it as a scavenger hunt or some sort of like reward at the end of it. There's a lot of ways to make it fun. But the systematic and very intentional way that Heather has done it in Griffin, applaud you. All the different people in the city that are involved. I think that's key and huge. Another thing I wanted to mention is there's something called the curb cut effect. And so this is when we're kind of talking about ADA accessibility and just accessibility for different populations. The curb cut effect is essentially like if you make the downtown friendlier or safer for one population, you're making it more friendly for all populations. And so when you're thinking about ADA accessibility, it's like, yeah, well, it's for this one population, yes. But think about it when you might have a curb cut because wheelchair accessibility, walker accessibility, different things like that. But if you have a really heavy suitcase, you're really appreciative of that curb cut. So it can have a lot of different impacts across the board because you're making it downtown safer and more accessible for one population. It can only make downtown safer and more accessible for all the entire community. So kind of shifting that perception and sort of like thinking about that language. And in that same vein, when you are looking at your audit team and you are looking at accessibility, reach out to groups that have disability, that have ambulatory issues, that are in a wheelchair, a walker, a cane, that have sight impairment, hearing impairment. We don't talk about mental impairments like autism or like different things like that might be an issue with accessibility downtowns. And so don't take for granted that what those populations are going to see a challenge within your downtown. Include them in the audit and value their insight. Andrew Simpson, I believe, in Jonesboro mentioned that when they've done walking audits in the past, or like when they're doing an event, if he sees somebody that has an impairment, he's like, I just want to ask you, how friendly do you see this event for yourself? Where can we improve? And I think that's a great thing to think about because it's the day-to-day, it's events, it's all these different types of things, but making sure that you're really talking to that community to better understand the lens that they're experiencing your downtown, because until you're in that situation, you will not have the full picture. And so that's another really great thing to keep in mind as far as the accessibility question. What else? Also, this kind of speaks to something else, which is the value of a building inventory. So we're talking very much about like the feet on the street, the data-driven thing, but this also can play into your building inventory. So the opportunities there, what your retail mix is, all these like the business owner mix, things for sale, for lease. This can help inform that. If you don't have a building inventory, we have a template that we can send you to utilize. It is the same template that we're going to be utilizing to do uploads to Downtown GA, which we are starting. And so if you want to get a head start on that, I'm happy to send that to you, and you can kind of start looking at that and filling it out. So when it is your turn to get onboarded into that platform, you'll be a step ahead. But yeah, building inventories can't be overstated. And so just a few little points I wanted to mention on this talk, but Heather, thank you so much. And then we also have a celebrity on this call, if he's still on this call. We have the Carmine Fischetti, who, if you are an OG manager, you know he used to be with our office. He used to be the head of our design studio. We miss the design studio every day. We miss Carmine deeply too, and his talent and his expertise. So I do not want to overlook the opportunity to get maybe some of his insight in this particular subject. Since it is Historic Preservation Month, he is the design guru. Carmine, anything to add?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Heather, that was a great presentation. I really appreciate the idea of looking at a downtown like after hours in the nighttime. I guess Griffin is a lot like Athens, where it presents a totally different face, after the sun goes down. So I think what you see at night is just as valid and important as what you see from 9 to 5. So I think it's a great project and initiative that you're doing, and I could see that working in different versions in a lot of downtowns across the state. So kudos to you. That seems like a great effort.
Thanks, Carmine. And with that, if anybody has any questions for Heather, if y'all do this in your community, any lessons learned or ways to do it differently, please feel free to shout out. I'd love to continue the conversation. Don't be shy.
I just wondered how often do you do it on a regular basis or just really when something comes up, Heather? How often are y'all doing them?
So we are doing them at least once a year. Normally in the fall is what we have found works the best, just based on people's schedules that most people can attend if we do them in the fall. We actually are planning one right now. We're going to do it like early in the morning because we have had an influx of homelessness issues arise lately. So we try to be proactive about them. And we actually do have on our city app, Elizabeth, I thought that was a great comment, and I didn't even think to add that in. We have on our city app where you can, if there's a street light out or there's an issue, you can report it to us. So we are able to do that. And that has been super helpful since the IT added that feature to the app. So it's other people can see it and not just me or the team that does the walks. So that's a great idea and addition to what I was going to say. But yeah, it just kind of depends on what's happening with the board. We've had a super busy spring, so we've not been able to do one since the fall, but we try to do them at least annually. Or anytime somebody says, hey, we're having this issue, we need to plan a walk. So it's really kind of on a case-by-case basis as to what the downtown needs at that time.
Hi, Elizabeth. This is Dion from West End, Atlanta, and I just wanted to share. We usually do what we call public safety walks with our local council person, our zone captain, and the police major. We also usually have a few business owners in the community as well as code enforcement. And they come out with us, they take pictures, they write citations, the things that we call and complain about that sometimes we think that they don't believe or just can't get to. But it's a great way to hold our council people and our community services accountable because they see it in real time. And so it's helpful. We usually do it twice a year as well, try to do it in the spring and in the fall. For maybe about an hour and a half, and walk a couple blocks. In the concentrated quote unquote problem areas, along our main street. So it is very helpful and things get done when we do those walks. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Dion. Anybody else? All right. Well, no, nothing else on that vein. Anybody else have any other questions sort of at large? We can roughly center around historic preservation. We can throw it to something larger or just anything you want to brag about happening in your downtown.
I'll share.
Yay, Kenda. What's going on in Hampton?
And
Do
actually,
share.
it is historic preservation related. Excuse me. Uh, for the month, we are actually going to be showing the Rosenwald film here on the last day of the month, May 31st. The city of Hampton is home to a former Rosenwald school, and we commissioned artists from the Henry County Art Consortium to meet with former students. And we've now taken the deliverables of the art pieces, which came in various modalities, I guess, of art, some phenomenal pieces, but on May 31st at 5:30 p.m., we will have a meet and greet at Digiware Entertainment, which is a facility in our downtown. This is a collaboration between Historic Preservation, our Downtown Business Alliance, and Main Street. We are also in the process of sending out an RFQ for to develop a Rosenwald Park, which will be adjacent to the former Rosenwald School. So we're excited about that. And we would love for anyone that wants to join us to join us. And I also want to say, send out kudos to Ebony because the City of Hampton's signature events, Yellow Pollen Festival, was held April 26th, and Ebony came up and attended. And that's it.
Thank you, Kenda. Love it.
Hey, I just want to invite everybody. We have the Honeybee Festival and it is May 31st as well. So I hate that it's a conflict with Hampton, but y'all are definitely invited to the city of Lafayette. We have 2 stages going all day with a lot of local talent. And then starting at 5 o'clock, we start with some bigger acts. It's a free concert and it's a free festival. We typically have between 40 to 50,000 people that attend, and it's a really great day for downtown Lafayette. We are a very small city, and we're in the northwest corner of the state. We'd love to see you that day, so come on out. It's a fun event. We have about 200 vendors that day, and just lots of things for your whole family to do and to stay all the way up until about 11 o'clock. So it makes for a super long day, but it's a great time to be in downtown Lafayette, so we'd love to see you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hey, can I say something?
Yeah.
We have our first wellness walk in Little Five Points on Sunday. It's going to be from 1 to 5. We've gotten all of our stores that have to do exercises. Some of the stores, I'm trying to think, like we have our Sevenando, which is our grocery store it's a vegetarian grocery store. Anyway, so we've gotten about 13 or 14 businesses, and they're going to give away coupons or talks or samples. So we're real excited. We've gotten a really good, we already have um, 10 businesses signed up to do, different businesses signed up to do another one. So.
Very nice. Thank you. I love that. I love that concept.
Andrew has a question.
Yeah. Third Thursday in June is Juneteenth.
At this point, we were going to go ahead and do it just because we've got some speakers lined up and that day worked for them. BCA is closed, but are many of y'all's offices closed on June 19th? Yes, Douglas and Forsyth are. And Canton. Okay. Okay. We may see if we can switch it to maybe the day before. We'll let y'all know.
Terezi, did you have a question?
Hi, yes, could you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, I'm kind of like a no makeup look today also, like somebody, so sorry about that. But Stockbridge is getting ready to host our Tiny Tent concert series. So we're really excited about that. However, we are having a little bit of trouble finding artists and local bands mostly. So if anybody knows of any local bands, kind of shoot them my way, please. We're still trying to vet some people out, to see if they're a good fit and trying to reach them and things like that. So if anybody knows anybody, let us know, please.
Thank you.
I just want to make a couple more comments. We actually do Phoenix Flies and history tours in March. So that's why I guess we always kind of miss the May history because we do so much in the spring. Also too, like we're talking about these walks. Our neighborhood is getting ready to be under construction. So probably for the next 2 or 3 years. So right now we're more scared about businesses closing. I know I heard there was at the Main Street conference there was a session about that, but I didn't get to go. So anyway, that's all.
Thank you, Kelly. Belinda?
Yes. First of all, thank you, Heather, for the meetup that we had not too long ago.
Yes.
I came home with her idea, and now we have these Canton bags. That was so quick. I actually sent the information in, paid for them on Monday. I had them in my office on Thursday. So for in print, I'm telling you, so we're selling these for like $10. People are grabbing them like crazy. And then that way it's just one more swag thing. T-shirts are awesome, but bags are really cool. And they're perfect timing for like the beach and just carrying your things to the office and stuff like that. So thank you, Heather, for giving us the idea and sending us home with a cool bag. So now we've got these here. So thank you.
Thanks, Belinda. And on that note, I visited Fairburn, and I don't know if our Bishwa is on here, but they have done something. I know we're almost out of time, but I have not seen before, and I think it is fabulous. They created these boxes. And so it has pictures on either side and their main events, but they use these as welcome boxes for new residents and businesses. So it has information about downtown. It has a couple little goodie items, but it also just like kind of shows the pictures of their events. And I just thought it was a really cool advertising item, not expensive. And I just thought that it was just brilliant. So I wanted to share. So if you have questions, reach out to our Bishwa in Fairburn. I can give you his information. I just thought it was a really unique thing. But I know some communities have like welcome wagons for new businesses and property owners, but that's what they do for the businesses in their downtown and community. So I thought it was very cool, and residents. I thought that was very cool.
Oh, that's really cool. Belinda, those are great. Those bags are also great for sponsors. Like I'm giving all of our sponsors those bags. So I'm glad you like them. Actually, everybody's been using them here too. So they're, yeah, the best little foreign prints I have found yet. So thank you.
Perfect. All right. We are 1 minute. So I feel like speak now or forever hold your peace. The team will stay on after the call if you have any questions that you wanted to talk to us offline about. And if not, I hope you have a beautiful day, and don't be a stranger. Reach out if you need anything from us. Thank you again, Heather. You did a brilliant job.
You're welcome. Thank you all for listening.
Of course.
Thank you, Heather.